Good morning, boys and girls. Today I have come up with a third program on function overloading. This would be the last and final program in this concept. The rest of them you need to practice. Possibly once the classes resume, we shall solve all the ICSE problems. This is the third other day. In the previous session, I did two programs on functional overloading. Here I go with the third one. This would be the last and final. Please pay attention. And similar problems you can always try from your textbook. Enough number of problems have been given to you. Now, here I have a class called as function overload, which consists of four methods. Namely, the main method, which is the gateway of your program, gateway of your class rather, and there are other three methods having the same name. Look at closely. Public void numCalc. This is the first method. This is the second method called as numCalc, and third method is called as numCalc. I repeat again, boys and girls, what is the definition of a function overloading? In a class, two or more functions having the same name with different parameters or different arguments or different signatures. Have a close look. Here, what is the method name is? numCalc. Here is the second method, numCalc. Here is the third method, numCalc. Here we have two parameters. One is of integer, another one is of character. Here we have three parameters, two integer parameters and one character parameter. Here we have two parameters, both of them are strings. What I want to tell you is, all the three methods based on the parameters which we give, which behaves. What does it do? The question goes like this. You give this number, if the character happens to be S, because character means only one keystroke. If you give us S, it finds the square. If you give other than S, it finds the cube. That is what the question is all about. What does it do? Give two parameters. The first parameter is of integer and the second parameter is of character. If this character happens to be S, S is shortest form of square. If it happens to be S, whatever the number you give, it finds a square. If it is other than this S, for example, I give K. If I give K and S, are they equal? No. It finds the cube whose result will be stored in a variable called as result, which you have declared here, and system.out.println result. What does it do? System.out.println will show you the output. If it is S, it finds the square. Square value will be displayed here. If it is other than S, it could be anything. It could be a letter, it could be a digit, it could be an alphabet, it could be a special character. If it is other than S, it finds the value of num into num into num. Num is multiplied thrice, so it finds this cube whose result will be stored in result and display that result here. What does the first function do? The first function calculates the square if the given character happens to be S. If it is other than S, it finds the cube and displays. This is what the first function narrates. What does the second function do? The second function, there are two integer parameters are there, namely A and B, and the third parameter is character, CH. Right? If this character happens to be P, it finds the product. If it is other than P, it finds the addition. Please note, boys and girls, here there are two parameters in this method. Here there are three parameters, though the method names are same. Whatever based on the character what you give. Here, if you give P, it finds the product. A and B gets multiplied, whose result will be stored in result. If it is not P, it finds the addition, it will be stored in result and display that result. This is what the second function do. What does the third function do? The second last line. Have a close look. Third function, there are two parameters are there. Please note, here also two parameters, here also two parameters. Here one integer, one character. Here both the parameters are string. string S1, string S2. I want to know whether the S1 and S2 are, if they are same, you tell that both the strings are equal. If they are not same, then you must say they are not equal. Have a close look. There is a built-in method called as equal. S1 dot equals to S2 if this and this happens to be true. In short, if S1 and S2, if they are equal, what does it do? It says strings are equal. If S1 and S2 are not equal, it says they are not equal. Now, please note, boys and girls, this is what I wanted to explain closely. This is what I want to explain closely. Please have a look. As I told you before, always BlueJ looks for a method called as main, which is the gateway of your class. Do you have a main method? Yes. I create an object. What is the class name called as? Function overload. Function overload obj is equal to new function overload. Means this is what? It creates an object. With the help of the object, I go to a method called as numCalc with the two parameters. What is the first parameter is? Suresh. What is the second parameter is? Naresh. So computer looks for that. Compiler, your execution takes place. It sends to a method called as string1 and string2. What is the S1 is? Suresh. What is the S2 is? Ramesh. Is Suresh and Ramesh, are they equal? No. Then this condition gets executed. Strings are not equal. That is what the result will be displayed. Once this execution is over, control returns here. Please note, this is the second execution in your main method. What is object dot numCalc. Two parameters are there. The first parameter is an integer and the second parameter is a character. What does it do? It looks for a numCalc with two parameters of this data type. What is the first data type is? Integer, and second data type is character. Immediately the control is transferred here. What is the num value would be? Num value would be 23. What is the character value would be? K. Is K and S, are they same? No. It comes down, it finds 23 into 23 into 23. Let us not bother about the calculation part of it. It finds the 23 cube whose result will be stored in result, and that result gets displayed. Once this method gets over, it will fall back to the main method. Again I come here, I go to the method with the three parameters. Two integer parameter, and the next one is called as C. I give a parameter called as C within single quotation mark. It goes here. What the first parameter would be? 43. 43 gets stored in A. Similarly, 23 gets stored in B. And your character CH would be C. C and P, are they same? No. It comes here. It finds the addition of 23 and 43, whose result gets displayed. Again, it will fall back to the main method. Again, I go here. What does it do? With the two parameters, integer and the character. It goes to the first method. It executes the answer, it will fall back. See here, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. From main method, the control gets shuttled to multivariate function. How many times does it shuttle? 5 times. With the two parameters, numCalc with two parameters, both of them happens to be strings. Then the second method is numCalc with the two parameters, both of them happens to be one integer and the another one is character. And third method is three parameters, fourth method with the two parameters, and fifth method is three parameters. What I am trying to tell you is, back and forth the execution transfers. From main method it goes to numCalc. Again, once the execution gets over, it will fall back to main method. Again, the second statement, second time the function executes. Again, once the execution, the result gets displayed, it will come back. This is what the function overloading. I recapitulate, boys and girls. What does this function overloading is all about? In a class, two methods or 3, 4, much more than 2. two or more methods having the same name with different signature or different arguments or different parameters is known as a function overloading. Is this clear? Please do practice some questions which are there in your textbook and old ICSE. Once the class access resumes, you shall solve all the ICSE problems. Okay? Afterwards, I will begin with the built-in methods.